top of mind question that I'm hearing these days is you get so many different signals. It's really ambiguous in 2024 to navigate the real estate market. 2021, 2022, 2023, they've all been different if you look at them. So how do you bring that clarity to those real estate investors, whether they are first-time investors or repeat investors? How do you bring clarity to your clients in this kind of a market?
Yeah, great question. I think the best thing we can do as a professional is to help people decide like what they want. And what I mean by that is sometimes we just overcomplicate stuff. And we try to gauge little things. And if we want tremendous stress in our lives, we can do a lot of analysis paralysis, and it'll stress us out. And that's why I love Warren Buffett behind us, Warren Buffett. And he's a big believer of like thinking in the long run, right? Because you can't really, in this world, we want instant gratification. We want things now. Right. We want to invest now and want to make money right now. It doesn't really quite work like that. You may get lucky here and there, but it's not going to work. You got to think of it. It's just like getting in shape.
Yep.
You can't just go in the gym and see results in a week, or a month, or some cases in 6 months. You have to give it some time, right? So to answer your question, what I ask my clients, very specific questions, very simple. Do you have to buy that big home for your teenager kids and your parents who cannot go upstairs? They need a bedroom downstairs, for example, right? Yes or no? It's a very simple question. Forget about the market, forget about everything else. A very simple question, do you need it? Or if you're an empty nester and you're trying to downsize, simple question, do you need to do this yet or not? Very simple. So I really help them narrow it down. And if the answer is like no, or maybe, then we're like, hey, forget it. Right? But the answer is like, hey, you know what? I have to, because my teenagers, they're going to be gone in 4 or 5 years. What am I going to do with a big house after they're gone? So I need it now. So now we're like, okay, so we got this out of the way. We need it now. Now, then I tell them we can't gauge the market. We cannot gauge it. But one thing we do know is, like we're talking about real estate, you can never lose in the long run. You know what I mean? You can.
Makes sense.
It's hard to gauge it. I mean, can you imagine if you bought a home in 2005 for $1 million, it dropped to 600,000, but that same home is worth $2 million right now, right?
Way up.
And and that was the depression, basically. It wasn't even a recession, right?
Totally.
So you can never lose in the long run, no matter how crazy the market is. But if you're trying to gauge it, like the stock market,
you can't time it.
You just can't time it.
Yeah.
Same thing. I'll ask an investor if somebody's trying to invest, and if they have $1 million sitting in the bank, you're actually losing money with inflation. That $1 million is not going to be worth $1 million in a year or two. Just with inflation is through the roof.
Just with inflation.
So you need to do something with that money. The question arises, do you want to do it or not? It's that simple, right? Absolutely. And then we kind of get, so I really help them narrow it down. And Mahesh, what do you do? I know you work with a lot of your coaching clients. Are you helping the CEOs of the world? How do you bring clarity to them?
Yeah. So what I do, I absolutely work with them on the 3 C's: the clarity, the consistency, and the confidence. And as I work with these high-tech leaders and even individual contributors in the tech world, as we know, 2023, 250,000 people in the tech industry got laid off.
Gosh, 250,000 last year.
250,000 people in 2023 got laid off, right around, most of them right around here, but throughout the technology industry.
Okay.
So now when you look at that signal, that's mostly your headlines.
Yeah.
And now people are like, the folks who got laid off, for them, it's traumatic. And for the folks who are still in the job market, they can keep receiving these uneven signals where they cannot decipher what it means for their future. So when I work with clients, I truly step back and help them understand what their strengths are and what is it that they truly want, and get them aligned to that. Because it's one thing to say I got laid off and I'm a loser, and they put all these kinds of labels on themselves. So my job is to make sure they put their past behind. They become super clear in terms of what is it that they want. And we start to create 1 year, 3 year, 5 year goals. Because just like you said, you can't just go have a job for 3 months. That's contract positions. When you're talking a vice president of engineering at a large public corporation or at a FANG company, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google, kind of a company. When you look at these positions, you have to be long in how you plan your goals and how you go about achieving them. So one of the things I do, which is my superpower, is to help them think it through and then strategize it, because that clarity gives you that ultimate power to go after the singular thing that you actually want. And I just enjoy that, because whether you're in the C-suite or if you're a staff engineer, that's one thing that once you have, it'll help you get to your goals faster than ever.
Love it. Great.